stay with me. We're also getting breaking updates now that Sanjay Singh has been remanded to ED custody till October 10. So another 5 days for which Sanjay Singh will be in ED custody. His bail hearing has also been adjourned for later in the week. But Sanjay Singh, at least for now, will have to be in ED custody at least till October 10. He was arrested last evening after a raid from early morning at his residence, and he was presented in the court just a short while ago. The ED, if I remember correctly, had asked for 10 days custody. What they've been granted, it looks like, is 5 days custody. So he will be in ED custody till October 10. His bail hearing will come up again later, while it was also moved earlier today. On the political question, I want to go back to our guest. Arun Anand is with us. Arun Anand, do you see this arrest either uniting the India bloc further, given that they have always maintained that they are being harassed by the central agencies, or do you think it could cause fissures for them because ultimately this is a corruption taint and the Delhi Congress has actually also raised this charge against the Delhi government? How are they going to wash off what they said just months ago?
I think it's going to create fissures in India alliance, and the reason is, see, right now, this battle is being fought at actually two fronts. One is a legal front and one is a political front. When it comes to the legal front, of course, as Mr. Sumit Chandra was also saying that, no, it's too early to say, and the very fact that their ex-ministers, whether it was Satyen Jain or Manish Sisodia especially, in the excise case he was arrested, so they haven't got bail till yet. And had there been, as Aam Aadmi Party has been claiming that they are absolutely clean and there is no case against them and there is political vendetta only. So prima facie, they should have, got bail much earlier. Yeah. But they have to go up to the Supreme Court and they haven't got the bill. So that puts Aam Aadmi Party and subsequently India Alliance also on the back foot as far as the legal front is concerned. Now, when it comes to the political front, so right now they are trying to close the ranks, but there are a lot of rumblings within the Delhi Congress. It's an embarrassing situation for Congress in both Punjab as well as in Delhi, and because the rest of the parties, they do not have a stake, whether it is the RJD or whether it is Shiv Sena, they don't have a stake in Delhi or Punjab. So they can come out with the statement and support Aam Aadmi Party, and I think overall, see, the thing is that had excise policy been absolutely without any lacune or without any problem, the Aam Aadmi Party shouldn't have taken back that policy. The very fact that this policy was, junked within an year. So that also, the policy front also, it's difficult to justify that policy. And there seems to be apparent gaps, and when India Alliance is trying to target the BJP-led I.N.D.A. on the issue of corruption, so I think it's going to dilute their campaign.
Siddharth Sharma, I wanted to ask you exactly this question. Don't you think this case has fundamentally hurt your party's image as an anti-corruption party, which was your plank by which you came to power? This is happening in Delhi, mind you, not happening in Punjab, which was your foray as a second stint. Delhi is what brought you to power and to prominence. And here you've got two former ministers, now an MP, under arrest and in custody. How are you going to deflect from those charges if there was everything absolutely clean about this policy?
I will not deflect, I will answer it head on. Just like Mr. Trudeau of Canada in a spate of high, charging India with all kinds of charges, doesn't hold water and it is laughed upon, and it doesn't make India any smaller. In fact, it makes Canada the laughing stock, including Mr. Trudeau. The same way, these kind of cases, and this has been tried earlier also. My question is again comes back to that. Did Mr. Advani and Mr. Vajpayee being in jail for nearly 2 years in 1977 hurt BJP? No, it did not, because the cases were, it's very simple now. Everyone today, the viewer of CNN News 18 understands that ED has become a naked example of abuse of law. ED,
but I'm not sure if Advani and Vajpayee's case applies to you. They weren't in power at that time. Your government is in power and is accused of corruption while formulating a policy in power. It's not an action of a few.
then the answer to that is that the same policy, when it is applied in Punjab, how come it is good and how come it is taking in good revenue? Everyone knows that the Indian Premier Investigating Agency of India is being turned into wolves to hound political opponents who cause acute discomfort to BJP.
I have a minute
BJP
left.
has two.
I have a minute left. Let Nighat Abbas respond to that. Nighat Abbas, ultimately, if you look at the record of these agencies, one, the question has been raised of just how many cases actually even go to conclusion. And the classic case that comes to light when you talk about corruption is the case of Robert Vadra. Robert Vadra's was the case that you used, others may have also used and now forgotten, but I leave that aside. But the BJP has been harping on it for 10 years while being in power. Nothing has happened of that case. So why should we, the public, believe that every case that gets lodged or even if somebody gets arrested is actually a case that is legally tight?
Shivani, we need to make out the difference between the government and the central agencies who take the charge of it.
No, you can't deflect that. Nighat, I am sorry to say, in public perception, the ED very much comes under the government and you cannot deflect from the fact that these actions will ultimately be tied with the government.
No. Shivani, allow me to speak. Allow me to speak, please. I understand it comes under the government. But that doesn't really mean that the government has to tell them what to do. It is for them. They have a defined policy to do. They have their principles. They know how to do work and they know how to investigate. And ultimately, the honorable court has to decide.
They know how not to investigate Mr. Himant Biswa Sharma. They know exactly how.
Siddharth, not like this. Let her have her say. I have limited time. Siddharth, nobody spoke over you.
Not to investigate.
Can I just have Nighat, please?
Sanjay Singh or Suli Baba had what to offer to Dinesh Arora, the carrot, that we would help you sort the excise case which you have as pending. And this is exactly what Manish Sisodia and Sanjay Singh did. They helped him to sort a case which was due in the excise department. And then you become a Suli Baba. Do not come up here and teach me moral science, Siddharth. You have to tell the, you need to answer that why is that Arun Kejriwal has been sitting on this thing. And why is that Arun Kejriwal, who does speak on everything, does not even tell us that why Sanjay Singh demanded 32 lakh rupees from Dinesh Arora?
Well, those are allegations at this stage, even if there's an approvals testimony. I do want to ask Mr. Sumit very quickly, the fact that two leaders, or at least in case of Manish Sisodia, under whom the excise department came directly, the fact that he hasn't managed to get bail for so long, what is the message does that send? Does that send the message that yes, the charges are very serious, the courts must have seen something on record, which is why bail is being refused?
Shivani, when it comes to bail, there are basically three things or three parameters that the court needs to see. One is that whether the accused is a flight risk, whether he'll run away. Second, whether he may or may not influence the witnesses in some manner. And lastly, that he would not tamper with the evidence. If three parameters are concerned, the courts normally grant a bail where they think they are in a position to either influence a witness or tamper with the evidence or is a flight risk, then the bail normally is not.
In this case, I think this is what has gone against Manish Sisodia, that he has been in a position of influence and thus can influence both the witnesses and the evidence in this case, and which is why you suggest he is not getting bail. Very quickly.
This is not a suggestion, this is the law, and these are the three parameters given by the law itself, the Act, and of course the landmark judgment in such PMLA matters in Vijay Mandal case versus Union of India. The Supreme Court has also clarified these issues. So these are law requirements. Police possibly needs the accused for certain interrogation purposes. The court, after seeing the evidence, have felt that police, if they require the custody of or the remand of the accused, the court has granted that.
All right, I have to leave it at that. Thanks a lot for our guests for joining us. Certainly, this is going to be a big question mark as far as the credibility of the party concerned is concerned in this matter, because these are very serious corruption charges. Sanjay Singh has been remanded to ED custody at least for 5 days. We slip into a very short break. On the other side, we get you our World Cup special preview. Remember, the World Cup has kick-started and India will be starting its campaign against Aussies, one of the firm favourites, very soon. More with our big World Cup panel.